I stand frozen in the corner of Luna's engagement party, watching the scene unfold like I'm peering through someone else's eyes. The Napa Valley Vineyard estate glows golden in the late afternoon sun, the light spilling across rows of grapes, and casting a soft halo around the meticulously arranged tables. Faces that have known me my entire life shimmer in the glow, masks of politeness, expectation, or genuine joy flickering across them. Crystal glasses catch the sun like tiny prisms, transforming ordinary moments into something almost magical, if you ignore the tension threading through it all. Daniel's fingers find mine, a gentle squeeze grounding me as my father taps his silver spoon against a glass. The delicate chime silences the room instantly. Daniel shifts closer, his shoulder pressing against mine, a silent anchor. He knows these gatherings cost me friends, colleagues, family, all layered with unspoken rules and quiet betrayals. My father begins, his voice rich, commanding, the same tone that has closed boardroom deals and silenced arguments at our family table alike. Eleanor and I couldn't be prouder to celebrate Luna's engagement to James. Luna, radiant beside James, glows with anticipation that has long since fled my own reflection in the mirror. At 29, she still carries the thrill of possibility, a breathless excitement I lost somewhere in my 30s. The room leans, in slightly, attentive, receptive. Business associates, family friends, everyone suspended in the warmth of this moment. My mother, diamonds catching the fading sun, smiles adoringly at Luna. But my father isn't done. We have another announcement tonight. Pride threads through his voice, smooth as silk but sharp in its implication. As a wedding gift to our daughter, Eleanor and I are giving Luna 15% ownership in White Family Trucking. Words hit like ice water. My lungs forget how to fill. Daniel's grip tightens painfully. My body doesn't move. My mind scrambles through years of memories, every sacrifice swallowed silently. Mother steps forward, perfectly composed. The paperwork was finalized last week, she adds sweetly, almost gleeful. This 15% stake is worth $1.2 million. Applause ripples through the room, polite, approving. Smiles plastered across faces, nods of admiration from business associates, hushed exclamations of envy from family friends. And me, smiling through the edges of my own disbelief. $1.2 million for Luna, my sister, who never lifted a finger in the business that has consumed my life. Stay calm, Daniel whispers, barely moving his lips. I'm right here. When the applause dies, I move forward on instinct. Luna wraps, her arms around me, the scent of her perfume enveloping me. Can you believe it? She whispers, genuine excitement in her voice. I respond, mechanical but convincing. Congratulations. Years of practice at swallowing disappointment and speaking sincerity sharpened into one perfectly empty word. Father clasped James' shoulder firmly, welcoming him not just as a son-in-law, but as a future business partner. Every gesture, every smile, every look is a reminder of what I'm missing. And memories surface unbidden. My own wedding, 7 years ago. Opening a coffee maker as a gift from my parents. No shares, no opportunity, just practical items as if I were expected to make my own way entirely alone. Daniel guides me to a quiet corner, voice low. You okay? I whisper back, the truth barely audible. Not here, not now. The evening crawls forward. Each toast, each clinking glass, each word of congratulations sharpening the edges of a lifetime of favoritism. James raises his glass. To joining such a family. Gratitude and hope fill his tone. Guests murmur, fragments of conversation drifting through the room. Substantial gift. Smart business move. Luna's always been their pride and joy. Across the room, Sarah catches my eye. Friend since childhood, witness to every instance of unequal treatment. Her raised eyebrow asks the question my lips cannot form. I nod, faintly, unable to risk more. Daniel remains at my side, anchor, reassurance, presence. Yet each cheer, each congratulatory hand, each proud smile directed at Luna digs a little deeper. A lifetime of small inequities crystallizes, sharp and cold. 3 hours later, the emptied ballroom feels cavernous. Champagne-stained crystal flutes sit abandoned. Expensive gift wrappings litter the floor like confetti that no one will clean. Only the 5 of us remain, suspended in the artificial warmth of this rented paradise. Luna stands by the windows, holding the framed share certificate to catch the last light. Gold embossing gleams under her manicured fingertip. James lingers nearby, phone in hand, calculating the future she now commands. I sit rigid, spine against carved wood, Daniel's thumb soothing in small, rhythmic circles on my shoulder. Father loosens his tie with a satisfied sigh. Wonderful evening. Couldn't have gone better. Something cracks inside me. Why don't I get the same? The words emerge quietly, but with iron beneath. Mother's hand pauses mid-lift, champagne glass. Frozen. What? The shares, I say, measured. Why doesn't your firstborn daughter receive 15% too? Mother's perfect composure falters, but only momentarily. Natalia, don't be ridiculous. You have a successful career, you don't need shares. The need isn't the point. I fold my hands to keep them from trembling, anchor my emotions in the silence that follows. Father steps closer, shadow darkening his face. The transfer is done, legal, finalized. Don't stir up trouble. Just be happy for your sister. Luna shifts, glances at James, who stares at the floor, wishing invisibility were an option. The certificate in her hands feels heavier than gold, weighted with every choice my parents made to favor her over me. I remember college, giving up my own fund so Luna could attend Westridge Academy. I moved into the smallest bedroom so she could have a study space. I worked 3 jobs while she received full support. That was different. Mother interrupts, sharp. Luna needed help to succeed. You were always independent. Being capable shouldn't mean being punished. My pulse drums. Father's jaw tightens. We made the best choices. Discussion inappropriate. Ungrateful. Bitter taste on my tongue. 33 years of swallowed disappointment. Every dollar, every opportunity, flowing toward Luna while I carved my own way alone. Daniel's hand tightens gently. At least respect her feelings, he murmurs. Mother's eyes glisten, tears scheduled and precise. We've always treated you equally. How can you say otherwise? Equally. I laugh, hollow. Name one time. I challenge silently. Just one instance where Luna didn't receive preference. This ends now, Father warms. Drop it or leave. For the first time in decades, clarity blooms. This isn't going to change. I reach for the silver bracelet my grandmother passed to me on my 16th birthday. Clasped slipping easily. Warm against my skin, it is more than jewelry. It is the anchor of my own life. My own legacy. I place it on the table. I won't be the afterthought anymore. Daniel rises beside me, unwavering. We move toward the door together. Natalia, please. You're overreacting. Luna's voice cracks the stunned silence. I turn. My sister's face is flushed, confusion in her wide eyes. She truly doesn't see it. None of them do. Mother presses a hand to her mouth. Father stands frozen, jaw working silently. For the first time in my life, I've rendered him speechless. Family should lift each other equally. I say, softer now. When was the last time any of you celebrated my accomplishments? Did you know I'm up for a patent that could transform cybersecurity protocols? That I was promoted last month? That Daniel and I are considering starting our own company? Their blank expressions answer for them. I thought so. I reach for Daniel's hand. Congratulations on your engagement, Luna, and your inheritance. Outside, the night air wraps around us, cool and clarifying. Thunder rumbles in the distance as we walk to our car, neither of us speaking until we're safely inside. Are you okay? Daniel asks, finally, not starting the engine yet. I look back at the golden windows of the vineyard estate, at the shadows of my family still visible inside. A strange mixture of grief and relief washes through me. No, I answer truthfully, but I think someday I will be. The first drops of rain hit the windshield as we drive away, leaving behind 33 years of silence. An hour later, in our apartment, rain drums against our living room windows, nature's percussion accompanying the storm inside me. Daniel moves quietly around our kitchen, the kettle's whistle piercing the silence as he prepares chamomile tea. The warmth of our modest craftsman home usually comforts me, but tonight the contrast between a cozy space and Luna's luxurious lifestyle stings with fresh awareness. Here you go. Daniel places a steaming mug beside me, his fingers brushing mine in silent support. I nod my thanks, unable to form words as I stare at the photo. Albums spread across our coffee table. The leather-bound volumes chronicle a lifetime of subtle wounds, physical evidence I've never examined collectively until now. My hands tremble slightly as I open the earliest album. You don't have to do this tonight, Daniel says, settling beside me on our well-worn sofa. I do. My voice sounds foreign to my own ears. I need to see it all at once. The first photo shows Christmas morning when I was 8, Luna just 4. My small face beams with forced brightness as I hold up sensible winter clothes while Luna sits surrounded by wrapping paper, clutching an elaborate Victorian dollhouse that must have cost our parents a month's salary. The dollhouse still sits in their attic, preserved like a museum piece. Look at your eyes, Daniel says, tapping the photo. Even then, you were putting on a brave face. I turn the page and land on my high school graduation. There I stand in my cap and gown, holding the luggage my parents gave me for college. The next page shows Luna beside the brand new Volkswagen they bought for her graduation 3 years later. They told me the luggage was practical, I explain, the memory sharp despite the years. They said cars were too expensive. Daniel's jaw tightens, yet they found the money for Luna. Duh. My finger traces the edge of another photo, Luna, on her first day at college, our parents flanking her proudly. The private university education they fully funded while I worked 3 campus jobs to supplement me loans at state. Jesus, Natalia. Daniel's voice catches as we move through the albums. I knew things were unequal, but seeing it all together like this, the pattern reveals itself with crushing clarity. Luna's dance recitals attended by our entire extended family, while my academic competitions had empty seats. My software engineering fellowship barely acknowledged, while Luna's brief internship at a fashion magazine warranted a celebration dinner. What about this one? Daniel points to a photo I've never noticed before. A family dinner, where everyone faces Luna, laughing at something she said. I sit slightly apart, my achievement trophy barely visible on the table beside me. That was the night I won the Young Innovators Award. Dad said we'd celebrate later. My throat tightens. We never did. We never did. The phone rings, startling us both. Sarah's name flashes on my screen, and I hesitate before answering. I've been trying to call you, she says immediately. I've watched this happen for 20 years, Nat. I'm with you on this. Tears blur my vision. Thanks, Sarah. They never deserved you. She continues, her voice firm with loyalty. Remember when your coding project won that national competition senior year, and your parents skipped the ceremony because Luna had a cold? Daniel raises his eyebrows as I nod into the phone, another memory clicking into place. After we hang up, our doorbell chimes unexpectedly. Daniel peers through the peephole and looks back at me with surprise before opening the door to reveal Professor Williams, my undergraduate mentor, standing in the rain with a concerned expression. I heard what happened, he says, removing his dripping raincoat. His silver hair is plastered to his forehead, but his eyes are clear and determined. Your parents never saw your brilliance, Natalia, but everyone else did. The unexpected show of support leaves me momentarily speechless. You drove an hour in this weather? Some things can't wait. He settles into an armchair, declining Daniel's offer of tea. When that family business needed modernization 5 years ago, whose security software did they implement? Yours. Who solved their logistical problems when they expanded? You did. My phone buzzes repeatedly with incoming messages, colleagues expressing outrage at my family's treatment, friends offering support. Daniel collects my phone, scrolling through. With widening eyes, you've built more than you realize, he says, showing me the screen filled with notifications. Look at all these people who see your value. For the first time since the party, something eases in my chest. I hadn't realized how much I needed this external validation, proof that I'm not crazy, that the pattern others see matches my experience. Your career speaks for itself, Professor, Williams says, leaning forward. Your patent application could revolutionize how banks protect customer data. Meanwhile, he hesitates. Meanwhile, Luna has tried and abandoned 4 careers. I finish for him, all funded by my parents. They gave her fish but taught you to fish. Daniel says quietly, the simple observation striking me with its accuracy. The irony that Luna received business shares despite having no business experience suddenly seems almost comical. I've built my success through work and sacrifice, while Luna has had everything handed to her. My phone rings again. Mother's name appearing on the screen. I send it to voicemail. But seconds later, the notification for a new message appears. Want me to listen to it? Daniel offers. I nod, watching his expression change as he holds the phone to his ear. We've always loved you both the same, he mimics. My mother's tearful voice after hanging up. That's exactly what someone would say if they didn't. In fact, love you both the same. My laptop chimes with a new email from my father. The subject line reads, Family Matters in all capitals. I open it to find a stern paragraph admonishing me for making private family matters public and insisting we put this nonsense to bed. He still thinks he can control the narrative, I say, showing Daniel the screen. He's been doing it your whole life, Daniel replies, his arm around my shoulders. They all have. A text from Luna arrives next. You're ruining my engagement celebration. How could you be so selfish? The words sting, but less now. The albums spread before me provide concrete evidence of what I've endured. A visual record no one can dismiss as imagination or oversensitivity. Professor Williams rises to leave, patting my shoulder. Remember, Natalia, family is who treats you like family. Your parents may share your DNA, but these people, he gestures to my phone full of supportive messages. To Daniel, these are your real family. After he leaves, headlights sweep across our front windows. Daniel peers out and frowns. Your parents are here, he says, voice hardening. Want me to send them away? I consider for a moment, then nod that I need time. Through the rain-streaked window, I watch Daniel step onto our porch, closing the door pinned. Him. His posture is protective as he speaks to my parents standing in the downpour. Mother tries to move past him toward our door, but he stands firm. Eventually, they retreat to their luxury sedan, defeated expressions visible even through the rain. When Daniel returns, his shirt damp from the confrontation, a new strength flows through me. For the first time, I've maintained a boundary with my family, and the sky hasn't fallen. How do you recognize when family patterns are too deeply ingrained to change? I asked Daniel, closing the photo albums one by one. He considers the question carefully before answering. When showing them the pattern repeatedly makes no difference. When they refuse to see what's right in front of them. I nod, the truth of his words settling into my bones. I think I've been showing them my whole life. Daniel gathers me in his arms as the rain continues its steady rhythm against our windows. The storm outside might continue, but inside, I feel the first tentative rays of clarity breaking through decades of clouds. My office feels like sanctuary 1 month after Luna's engagement party. The gentle hum of computers and fluorescent lights creates a rhythm that drowns out the noise of family drama. I focus on the code before me, lost in the elegant solution to a security protocol issue that stumped our team for weeks. My computer chimes with an incoming email. I glance at it, then do a double take. Congratulations, Natalia White, reads the subject line from our CEO, Senior Director of Cybersecurity Initiative. The promotion I've been working toward for 3 years. The validation hits me in waves. Recognition. Based on merit, not blood relation or favoritism. My phone buzzes with Daniel's name on screen. Did you see the email? He asks, his voice warm with pride. Just now. I reply, my voice steady despite the emotions swelling in my chest. How did you know already? Your boss called me this morning. I've been planning a celebration dinner all day. Don't stay late. I smile, imagining Daniel in our kitchen, sleeves rolled up as he prepares my favorite meal. In our 8 years together, he's never missed an opportunity to celebrate my achievements, the ones my family overlooked. As if on cue, my phone lights up again. Mother's name appears on the caller ID for the 3rd time this week. I silence it, adding her to the growing list of family members I'm not ready to speak with. The Thompson cousins called yesterday. Daniel says, hearing my sigh. And your Aunt Judith left another voicemail about healing the family rift. Let them call, I reply. Surprised by the calm in my voice, I'm focused on what matters now. The peace I found in this distance feels earned, not empty. For the first time in 33 years, I'm defining myself without the white family shadow hanging over me. When I arrive home, the aroma of rosemary and garlic greets me. Daniel has transformed. Our dining room with candles and good china we rarely use. A bottle of champagne chills in an ice bucket. To the newest senior director, Daniel toasts, his eyes reflecting both pride and concern, and to boundaries that should have been set years ago. We clink glasses just as my phone buzzes with a notification. Sarah has forwarded me a social media post from Luna. Elaborate floral arrangements for her upcoming wedding, captioned, when your parents spare no expense for their daughter's special day. Mother has shared professional photos of Luna visiting wedding venues. Her caption about carrying on the family business legacy, thinly veiled ammunition in their campaign to pressure me back into compliance. Your father showed up at your office building yesterday, Daniel says carefully, watching my reaction. Security called me. I set down my fork. He what? He couldn't get past the lobby. I've spoken with security at both your office and here at home. They understand the situation. The anger rises hot in my chest, not just at my father's intrusion, but Audacity. Let me guess. He wanted to reason with me about Luna's wedding. Daniel nods. Apparently Aunt Judith is telling everyone you're having some kind of breakdown, that the pressure of your job has made you mentally unstable. I laugh, the sound sharp and unfamiliar to my ears. Of course, because setting boundaries after decades of being treated as an afterthought couldn't possibly be a decision. After dinner, I draft an email to the extended family who've been calling and texting. The words flow with surprising clarity. I appreciate your concern for family harmony. However, the pattern of favoritism I've experienced isn't new and isn't trivial. I'm taking space to reassess relationships that have consistently demanded my understanding while offering little in return. I'm well and focused on my career and marriage. Please respect my decision to engage on my terms in my time. Daniel reads it over my shoulder. Perfect, he says. Clear, calm, and absolutely final. The next morning, I have my first session with Dr. Rivera, a family therapist Daniel researched last week. I need to process this properly. I explain, not just react. That's remarkably self-aware, she replies. People in your position would simply burn bridges. I've spent my life building things, I tell her. Even if these relationships need complete reconstruction, I want to approach it strategically. That weekend, we hosted a small dinner for true friends. Sarah, my mentor Professor Williams, and colleagues who've become confidants. We laugh, share stories, and create new traditions untainted by old hurts. When my phone rang over and over with Luna's name Tuesday morning next week, I almost ignored it, but as Shabia's persistent, something seemed off. Dad says the business might be in trouble. She blurts before I can speak. Something about cash flow problems and lost contracts. He's looking for investors. The irony isn't lost on me. The same morning I receive notification that my patent application has been approved, with a substantial bonus attached. The family business falters. I'm sorry to hear that. I reply carefully. That's it? You're sorry? Luna's voice cracks. Mom and Dad are fighting about my wedding costs, and James is asking questions about joining a family business that might be struggling. And all you can say is you're sorry. I take a deep breath. What exactly are you asking? From me, Luna? Her silence speaks volumes. In the background, I hear our mother's voice rising in an argument. I have to go. Luna says finally. James says this is all getting to be too much. The tension, the family drama. After we hang up, I sit in the quiet of my home office, staring at the framed patent certificate Daniel had made for my previous innovation. Below, it sits the notification of my newly approved patent and the investment portfolio we've been building. Steady, strategic choices that have positioned us well, regardless of familiar connections. The realization settles over me like morning light. My independence has become my greatest strength, not just financially but emotionally. While my family's facade begins to crack under pressure, I'm building something sustainable. Daniel finds me smiling as I review investment options for my bonus. Good news? He asks. The best kind? I reply. I'm finally seeing clearly. The cream envelope arrives on a Tuesday 2 weeks later after a prolonged silence. It slipped between bills and junk mail like an ordinary piece of correspondence. But I know what it is before my fingers trace the gold embossed edges. Luna's wedding invitation. Daniel watches from the kitchen doorway, dish towel in hand, as I stand motionless by the mail table. You don't have to open it now, he says, his voice gentle. I slide my thumb under the sealed flap. The heavy cardstock feels expensive, substantial. Inside, calligraphy announces Luna and James' wedding date, 6 weeks away at the Fairmont Hotel. A small handwritten note falls onto the table. I need my sister there. Please come. Love, Luna. My throat tightens. Weeks have passed since I walked out of the engagement party. 3 months of rebuilding me sense of self beyond the family narrative. What does it say? Daniel asks, crossing to stand beside me. I hand him the invitation. She wants her punching bag in attendance. The phone rings that evening as we're finishing dinner. Mother's number flashes on the screen. Daniel raises an eyebrow. In silent question. I answer on the third ring. Luna is devastated you might not come. Mother says without preamble, this is her special day. Natalia. Hello to you too. Mum. Don't be difficult. This isn't about your issues with us. This is about supporting your sister. I press my fork against the plate, watching the tines bend slightly. My issues? You mean the lifetime of favoritism culminating in $1 million gift? That's business, not family, she says, voice sharp. The wedding is family. After I hang up, Daniel refills my wine glass. You okay? Just peachy, I say, but my hand trembles slightly as I reach for the glass. The following day brings a text from an unknown number. My father's new cell. Lunch tomorrow? Need to clear the air before the wedding. The Capitol Grill at 1. I show Daniel. At breakfast. Are you going? He asks, stirring his coffee. I should hear what he has to say. I take a slow breath, but I'm not making promises. The next day, the restaurant buzzes with business lunches when I arrive. Father stands as I approach the table, his face unreadable behind his practiced business smile. You look well, he says, nodding to the chair across from him. Thank you for meeting. He begins after we order. Luna talks about you constantly. She misses her big sister. Does she miss me? Or the sister who never complained when she took what was mine? His jaw tightens. That's not fair. Fairness isn't exactly your specialty, Dad. We sit in strained silence until our food arrives. He cuts into his steak with surgical precision. Look, he says finally, whatever grievances you think you have with us, this wedding is important. Luna needs you there. Luna has always gotten what she needs, I reply, voice steady. What about what I need? The calls continue through the week. Aunt Patricia insisting family comes first. Uncle Robert reminiscing about holding baby Luna while I stood. I watching. Cousins I haven't spoken to in years suddenly concerned about family unity. Then Luna herself, voice breaking. It won't be the same without you. Nat, I always pictured you standing beside me. I take the questions to my therapist, Dr. Winters, the following Tuesday. What do you truly want? She asks after I recount the barrage of family pressure. I want them to acknowledge what they've done. I say, picking at a loose thread on the couch cushion, not just with the shares, but all of it. And if they can't or won't, I look up at her. Then I need to decide if I'm strong enough to attend on my terms, or if I need to protect myself by staying away. That night, Daniel and I sit on our back deck, watching stars emerge in the darkening sky. Professor Williams called today, he says. Passing me a mug of tea, asked about you. What did you say? That you're fighting battles most people never have to face. He takes my hand. Professor said to remind you that attendance isn't the same as approval. 3 days later, I draft my letter, not an emotional plea, but a clear statement of boundaries. I write about specific instances of favoritism throughout our lives, about the college fund diverted to Luna's private school, about the childhood holidays where her gifts towered over mine. I end with my conditions. I will attend Luna's wedding if you can acknowledge these patterns existed, not to place blame, but to ensure we build something healthier moving forward. Daniel reads it twice before I send it. Are you sure? It's time for honesty, I say. Clicking. Send. The pre-wedding dinner arrives before I receive a direct response. We meet at Riviera. An upscale restaurant where the soft lighting seems designed to mask uncomfortable truths. Luna fidgets with her engagement ring, while James makes stilted conversation about honeymoon plans. Mother sips her wine. Perfect posture, betraying the tension she carries. Father checks his watch repeatedly. The salmon here is excellent, Luna says, attempting to bridge the silence that stretches between us. I notice my father watching me, something unfamiliar in his expression. Natalia, he says finally, setting down his fork. I received your letter. The table goes quiet. Daniel's hand finds mine beneath the tablecloth. We should have been fair to you. Father continues, the words seeming to cost him physical effort. I won't pretend to understand how it felt, but I recognize that our choices hurt you. Mother stares at her plate. Luna's eyes widen. I take a slow breath, feeling something shift inside me. Not forgiveness exactly, but perhaps the first brick in a bridge I never expected to build. Thank you. I say simply, that's a start. On the wedding day, the morning light filters through the bridal suite as I fasten the last pearl button on Luna's wedding gown. My fingers work deliberately, each motion a bridge between the sisters we were and the women we've become. You look beautiful, I say, the words coming easier than I expected. Luna meets my eyes in the mirror, her reflection glowing with more than bridal anticipation. Thank you for being here, Nat. I wasn't sure you would come. The admission hangs between us, honest in a way we rarely managed before. I smooth the satin at her shoulders, remembering the childhood games where she always wore the crown while I played the faithful attendant. I almost didn't. I answer, my voice steady. Mother appears in the doorway, her silhouette hesitant where it once would have been commanding. She watches us silently, her eyes taking in the tableau of her daughters together again. Something in her expression shifts. Recognition, perhaps, of what she nearly lost permanently. Through the window, I spot Daniel in the garden, deep in conversation with Uncle Robert and Cousin Andrew. He navigates my family with the graceful diplomacy I've always admired, creating space for me where none existed before. Seeing him advocate for me without fanfare makes my chest tighten with gratitude. Father approaches as I step outside for a moment of air. His expensive shoes crunch on the gravel path. You've built a good life, he says, his voice carrying unfamiliar notes of approval. I meet his gaze directly. I have, without any shortcuts. He nods, understanding the boundary in my words. Your mother and I were talking about inviting you to the next board meeting. Your security expertise could benefit the company. I'd consider it, I reply, neither rushing to accept nor dismiss the olive branch. Growth happens in these small moments of recalibration. The ceremony unfolds beneath a canopy of white roses. When Luna and James exchange vows, her voice carries clearly. I promise to create a family based on fairness and love for you. Luna's eyes find mine as she speaks these words. The message couldn't be clearer if she'd addressed it directly to our parents. Daniel's hand finds mine, his thumb tracing reassuring circles against my palm. At the reception, champagne flows and music swells. Unprepared for the familiar patterns to reassert themselves, but something has shifted in all families' gravitational pull. Luna taps her glass, pulling everyone's attention. James and I have an announcement, she says, her voice steady. Instead of joining White Family Trucking, we're starting our own marketing firm. Murmurs ripple through the guests. Mother's champagne freezes halfway to her lips. My sister taught me something valuable. Luna continues, finding me in the crowd. True independence means building your own path. Later, Father finds me alone. 3 simple words fall from his lips. I was wrong. The admission costs him visibly, his proud shoulders slightly bowed. Across the room, Mother approaches with tear-filled eyes. Her apology comes wrapped in decades of explanation. At its core rings true. Healing doesn't mean forgetting. Daniel observes as we drive home that night, the stars overhead brilliant against the Novembersky. 6 months later, Thanksgiving dinner unfolds in our dining room. Luna and James arrive, with pictures of their new office space. Mother and father bring modest, thoughtful gifts for everyone. The conversation flows without the undertow of competition that once defined us. In the kitchen, arranging dessert plates, I pause to absorb the gentle hum of voice from the dining room. The journey here wasn't simple or painless, but standing in the warmth of our home, I understand something essential. Family is what we choose to build, not just what we're born into. What does family mean to you? Is it defined by blood or by how people treat each other? Share your definition of true family below.